Hello, Bmusicers. We are catching up with the Meow Meows at their album launch at the Gladstone. We'll also be talking to their producer, Prince Fatty, so make sure you stay tuned. So Bmusic are outside the Gladstone today. We're catching up with the Meow Meows as it's their album launch, and we're with Prince Fatty at the moment, who has produced that album and is, well, a music producer in his own right. You've worked with a whole entourage of various musicians.
Yeah, well, to be fair to the Meow Meows, we co-produced this together because, they just came into my studio, we started recording, they're crazy. So I suppose it was more about control, trying to control this wild whirlwind of, 9 mad people. Is there 9 of them? I can't remember, but there's 9 of them, yeah. And a lot of names as well to remember. So you can imagine I was making constant mistakes. But yeah, it was good. They're wild and everyone's loving the album, so I'm very pleased. It's cool.
As a producer, I know a lot of people, you've got your own studio, Ironworks, in Brighton. And I know with a lot of producers, they take each band member and they really try and push them so hard to get raw emotion. But obviously, Meow Meows have 9 people within their band. So how did that work? How did the recording process go about?
Well, I just recorded it live, so we just got them to play as if it was a show. So when you're recording like that, you just got to make sure you don't start too early in the morning. You see what I mean? Because then obviously, it's never going to get the same vibe. So as long as you start after lunch and you get everybody recording at the same time, then it's the same kind of spirit. So that's usually what I do. Everyone plays, we do 2 or 3 takes, choose the right one, or if it's not sounding good, just move on and do another song until you're left with the last couple of stubborn little runts. And then you tend to beat those ones around a few times. But then by then the album's done and the musicians don't even realize they've done it. So that's how you really record good. With 9 people and with this kind of band where they're kind of wild and nuts and crazy, it's best to just go for it,
I mean, you've been in the music industry a long time now and you've worked across a lot of different genres. I mean, do you have a preferred genre to go into, or are you open to anything?
You know what? It's more personality driven. So if I like the people and I like their spirit, and I'm quite a punky guy, so people don't realize that. So I grew up listening to Dead Kennedys and some gnarly shit. So to me, so often if people have heard you for a certain thing, like I've made a lot of records, so sometimes people have heard like the American things or the reggae things or whatever, so they assume what they hear first is the impression that they tend to have. So I'm more like a Rubik's Cube, see what I mean? So sometimes it takes a while to just twist it around, see what I mean? So it's not always as clear as people think, so yeah.
So do you go out, do you do a bit of an A&R work for yourself, or do you tend to get approached by bands?
You have just sworn, you have just said a bad word, the dirtiest word you could have said. Me, none. You know what? I've been fired loads, I've been thrown out loads, I've turned down loads of albums. I must have turned down, I'm not joking, like crazy amounts of work. And usually it's because, like I said, the combination of people and the spirit's not right. People making music just for money or for the wrong thing, you see what I mean? So I've tried to be a rebel, and in that, I've, I think, attracted also the rebels as well in music, and I've enjoyed that. So whether it's Lily Allen or Manu Chao or whatever, there are always people that are trying to do something different to everybody else, and I like that. So that's the spirit that I believe in. So you should do the opposite to everybody else in art and music, I think. So if they're all making disco, make punk. If they're all making punk, make disco. And then you'll do all right.
So how did you go about setting up Ironworks? Because it's obviously a key thing in Brighton, and it's had a lot of people come in and out of it, like big names. How did you become involved with that, set it up?
All right, check it out. It's like being Robin Hood. So I take the money from the record companies. They give me stupid jobs sometimes, and they pay me a lot. So I just take that money, and I just do my own music with it and do my own things, and I couldn't care less. So Universal in France paid me a big whack to work with this French artist, So I just took that money and built the studio. So I thought it was basically everyone's been closing their studios down, and I've gone, like I said, I go the opposite. So I actually built the biggest one imaginable. So it's like 150 square meters. It's a big room. I can fit 10, 15 musicians in there playing piano and organs and drums, and so that's why it's different. But like I said, Universal France, I got lucky with them.
So why Brighton? Tell us why you wanted to set up and do your studios in Brighton, because obviously this is what Bmusic is about, and we're here to undercover all the music in and around Brighton area.
All right, well, I like the sea air, it's fresh. I don't want to get bogged down. I mean, I grew up in Brighton anyway as a kid, but I lived in London for a long time. Eventually my lease was up, so I shut it down, moved to Brighton and just relaxed for a bit, dropped out, was drinking beer on the beach like everybody else on a Wednesday. And then after a little while, I got it together, and it took me a while to find the building, because it's not easy in Brighton. There's not very many big, solid concrete buildings where you can go and make noise in. So I was patient, and I found, like I said, the Ironworks on Trafalgar Street, and then from there, that was it. And now I'm buried in there all the time. So there you go.
So, for one last question, what's the last piece of advice that you could give to anyone setting out and wanting to get into production like you're doing?
All right. Never sign a contract. Yeah, a contract is a contract, and it says con inside that word. So if you understand it, contract. So con, remember that it is a con. Don't sign a contract, and make sure you get your due rights and what you're owed. Otherwise, you can sell 3.5 million albums and not get a penny, and that's not nice. So I recommend all the young producers and all that to just make sure they know their rights and get busy with that, and don't get bullied. All right, peace.
Thank you very much.
When they're all sweating to death. Good evening, everyone! Woo! We're ready to launch the album. We're going to launch it into outer space. We are the Meow Meows, and this is Somehow We Met.
So it's all getting a bit chaotic here at Bmusic. I am joined by the Meow Meows, and there is 9 members of this band, and they are playing the Gladstone tonight. So I'm sort of smushed in amongst them, trying to merge in. So how's it going, guys, so far? It's sunny. Sunny, you're in Brighton. You're in high spirits. It's your album launch.
We're very excited, and we are definitely all members. That's true.
Look, there's so many people. How do you coordinate band practices?
Ian gets in a mood and gets really drunk and then storms off.
Are you the boss of the band?
I was. It was a dictatorship, but for last year it's been a democracy, which doesn't really work out for me, but it seems to work better for everybody else.
You got overthrown. So what can you tell us about the new album? It comes out on the 29th of July, I believe.
Sweat and tears have gone into that album. It's our best work yet.
It's a lot better than the last one. It's a lot better than it has any right to be.
And you've been whipped into shape by Prince Fatty at Ironworks Studio. So tell us a little bit about him and how you guys work together. I don't even know where to look.
Ask a singer.
Basically, he was the top of our list of people we wanted to record the album, and when he agreed to do it, we were quite shocked because we're a small little tiny Brighton band. Well, it's lots of us, but we're a very small band. And we had to sweet talk him, but eventually he let us into his studio, and it was brilliant. It's such a good experience, and he kind of taught us a lot about listening to how we play and giving us some advice. So
I'm just really aware that I'm crushing you.
It's fine. It's really comfortable. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah. So it was a bit of an honour to work with him.
Definitely,
Yeah. Was he your
it
first choice?
It was definitely a vote of confidence that he would deign to work with us. Like I spoke to him on the phone, and he said that he checked us out online and he liked our vibes.
Okay.
And that was the nicest. He'd liked our vibes. That was the nicest thing anyone's ever said about our band. Yeah.
I chatted to him earlier, and he did say he was all about that. Yeah. So how did all 9 of you come together to collectively create the Meow Meows? It must be quite a story. Have you just been are you a collector of people?
When my old band, Scargirl, split up, which me and Danny Girl were in, I picked all the people from other Scar bands that split up. Hannah was in MDS, she was in Go Tokyo, he was in Out of Luck, Go Tokyo, second time lucky, and I sort of handpicked them all.
So you hoovered everyone up, the creme de la creme.
Well, no, just the ones I could get, really.
Yeah, so what can we expect tonight? Album launch, and you've got your...
A few bad bass notes, out of tune. Alex looking at me, wrong.
Probably the best gig you've ever heard in your whole life, ever.
I can imagine, how do you manage to even fit on the stages? How... It must be, you must turn up to venues and...
It's very warm.
It used to be 10 of us, but Ian
It's intimate. We all get on very well. We're all very close.
Have you had any scenarios where you've just ended up like clashing instruments and getting bits and bobs broken?
Yeah.
Your saxophone's bent.
It is bent from the video shoot the other day.
bundles. Also, once he stuck his guitar through the roof.
And we've got about 17 new followers.
Oh, then we got
Too many people.
and then we got a new tour because he stuck his guitar through the roof.
So, what's been the most immense gig that you've done so far? Because there's so many of you, it's a party in itself. I mean, you don't even really need anyone to come and see you because you're probably just having a great
We played
time.
at Meadowlands a couple of in May, which was amazing. It was probably the best reaction we've ever had. And we played at Boomtown last year, which was a brilliant festival. And that was kind of like everyone was in fancy dress, and we all made quite an effort, apart from you. But yeah, it was we like playing festivals mainly. That's where we get the best reaction, and it's kind of like everyone's in the mood for partying. And
You've played with some amazing bands. You've played with Mouthwash, and like I'm a huge Mouthwash fan.
Mouthwash, yeah, we toured with them.
The first album, a bit dodged, but the new one they did's fantastic.
And you've done stuff with King Blues and Itcher's local, and now he's gone solo. Is there anything in the pipeline? Do anything with him?
Not really. We haven't seen him for a little while. I mean, we went on tour with the King Blues a few years ago, but he's kind of doing his own thing, which isn't really ska related. So we'll let him have his. We'll let him have his.
It was nice of him to ask us out on the road, and we appreciated it. We'll leave it at that.
Amazing. So anyway, really looking forward to tonight, and thank you so much for getting involved with Bmusic and all coming on board.
Thanks for being here.
Well, I seem to have the sofa to myself now. That was a rather tight squeeze. Very much looking forward to seeing the Meow Meows play in the Gladstone. How are they going to fit on that stage? I do not know, but all I know is it's going to be very hot, very sweaty, and full of energy. So thank you for joining us today at the Gladstone and watching Bmusic. We'll catch you soon.